Okay.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Okay, guys, thank you very much for tuning at this hour, and really thank you very much to you, Sheila.
Welcome.
Yeah,
It's
I,
a pleasure. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. To be honest, it's really great to have you here. So, Sheila, again, my name is Yuri lah. If you don't know yet, so thank you for having here. So, if you don't know yet, we are actually a group of nurses here lah in Singapore, where we talk about nursing itself and give perspectives on the nursing profession in Singapore. I'm not sure how long you have left Singapore for Australia.
Not too long.
Oh, not too long. Okay, okay,
Not
then that's
too
good.
long. I'm
Then
still very new in
okay,
Australia. I'm very
very
new.
good, very good.
Yeah,
Then it can be very contextual lah in that case. Uh,
exactly.
okay, good, good. But I won't ask you more. I will probably let you do the introduction lah. Okay?
Yes, of course.
Okay, okay. Right.
Actually, I'm very nervous for this
Huh?
because
Oh, no, no, no.
yeah, I really just want to let you guys know everyone has different experience
Yes, yes.
in a situation how they actually manage to come into Australia. But I'll
Mm,
just share with you more based on my experience to be a nurse and
mm,
joining Australia as a nurse. So
yeah.
see how you go lah.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Sheila. So, don't worry, Sheila. So, this session is very chill, very lepak.
Yeah,
Um,
very
the
good. I
que
like lepak. I so
uh,
long never lepak.
yeah, yeah, I can imagine lah. Nobody to lepak there, right? But for now lah, at least. Uh, so the questions that I'm gonna ask you is probably I will start with all the easy questions first lah, and then maybe we move on to the much more intense one, and then we
Yeah.
de-escalate the situation lah. Okay?
Whew. All
Yeah.
right,
Okay.
come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, maybe first of all, before we start with the questions, maybe you want to like tell us a bit of your background, Sheila, so at least we have a rough idea on your
Oh
experience or that.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So by the way, I'm Sheila. Okay. But most of them might call me as Shields. Okay. So that's my nickname. Hi. So
Okay.
I
Hi, Shields.
actually work. Hi, thank you. So I've actually worked in as a nurse at least about 12 years. I've worked in Singapore. Yeah, I worked in Singapore for at least like 10 years and decided to not decide. I then moved to Australia in Melbourne.
Oh.
So my experience is basically in ICU. So I've worked in both public and private hospitals in Singapore, and I've completed my degree, my master's,
Ooh.
and my advanced degree in critical care, all in Singapore. And
Okay.
then 4 years, should I say 4 to 5 years ago, I've decided to actually just want to have a new experience, new
Mm.
journey as a nurse. I just want to see what's the perspective
Mm.
as a nurse working in somewhere else because I'm quite like should I say I respected all the nurses that actually coming from Philippines and India
Mm.
or anywhere else that comes and work in Singapore
Mm.
and they are coping really well. And I'm just trying to see how myself as an individual when I go somewhere is out from my comfort zone,
Mm.
and challenge myself whether I can survive. And apparently, I actually managed to survive and, just start from scratch. Yeah.
Mm.
So what happened is that I actually work as a clinical instructor also back
Ooh.
home in Singapore, and
Nice.
yeah, so apparently, like I said, I moved to Melbourne 2 years ago. So I started as basic back to CCRN. So
Mm.
we don't call ourselves as we call ourselves just normal RN or ICU nurse back home, right?
Mm.
But they have
Mm.
like classification like CCRN here.
Mm.
So
CCRN
and then
is critical
like
care RN, right?
yeah, critical care
Okay, sorry,
RN. So
sorry, sorry.
you are being graded. So
Okay.
we have like grade from grade 1 to grade 10 based on your years of experience. And then I was promoted as a clinical nurse specialist after 1 year in
Mm.
my current hospital. And
Wow.
then 2 years, not 2 years, after 2 years, I actually move up and pick up a role as a associate nurse unit manager in ICU.
Okay, and that's
And
equivalent
okay,
to
we
like
call
what
it
you
the
like.
assistant nurse unit manager.
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
Yeah. So and then apparently I also work as a casual lecturer
In Australia.
in Australia,
Wow, wow,
in one
okay.
of the institutions. So I'll pick
Mm,
up as a lecturer as and when I'm free. So
mm,
and apparently, without you knowing, I work in two hospital, which is a private and a public hospital. At the same time, I do casual. So it's kind of very interesting
mm.
that you can't really have this experience back home, but you can have this experience and work as and when you want in Australia itself. Mm.
Wow, wow, okay, okay. That's very, very
Mm.
interesting, Hills. So, okay, first of all, right, why did you choose Australia then?
Okay, so before I chose Australia, I actually had an offer in London. That was
Oh,
4 years ago. Apparently, when I looked through all the pros and cons, I decided not to because in terms of pay scale, it's kind of slightly lesser than in Singapore. And then like you can't bring your spouse, and you have to work there first for at least 2 years. Then only you can be inviting your spouse to apply for permanent residency in UK. So I decided not to. Then I actually wanted to move to New Zealand because my husband used to work in New Zealand. But
oh,
after that, we think that oh, because in New Zealand, you just have to have a working visa, and then after 2 years, then you can only have the permanent resident. And honestly, we prefer to have a permanent residency just to settle everything. If anything happened, for example, when you have PR, you have like the selection to go through Medicare. It's like macam sorry, like um, MediSave, MediShield, something like that in
yeah,
Singapore.
yes,
Yeah,
correct.
so here we have Medicare, and then if there's anything happening with you, you are well supported by the government. Yes, it's really you have to pay tax, but it's not too bad. I will speak to you more, and I will
Mm.
share with you more in regards to the tax later.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, 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 right, right.
So
So,
back at the end of
yes,
the day,
yeah.
I actually decided to go Australia, even though back 5 years ago, I always like get scared because of you get all these thing in mind, like, oh, there will be snake in your house, there will be spiders, all these funny thoughts. But
Mm,
actually, it's not that bad. Um, at the end of the day, I'm in metropolitan area, so it's not too bad.
oh,
But there
right.
are other places in Australia, like other part of the states in Australia, they are also have risk of having snakes anywhere. But it's not something that is really going to cause a problem. At the end of the day, I just want to have this experience and exposure as a RN. Mm.
Okay, okay, that's good, Sheila. And I think earlier on you mentioned about our foreign friends here in Singapore, our Filipino friends, our Indian friends, even our China
Yeah,
friends who come here to work.
yeah.
Yeah, and I also feel I do respect them in that sense as well, that they sacrifice what they have back home and come here in Singapore to work and experience this whole thing being away. Yeah, I think and then kudos to you lah, Sheila, for doing this. Yeah.
Oh yes. So far, my experience has been really good.
Mm,
The most important thing is for you not to be shy making friends because you can be
mm,
really homesick. You will feel very lonely if you don't have friends, and you really can't be shy. You have to really be thick skin, asking for just get to know people around you, your community. And the good thing about working in Australia as a nurse is that you are meeting not only from the Philippines or India or anywhere, you meet a lot of people from coming from diverse culture and country. For example, I have in my current working place, I've got colleagues from UK,
mm.
from America, from where else? Like every part of the world, I think.
No, it's like
Yeah.
a mini United Nations lah. We thought
Yeah.
Singapore was like United Nations. I think there is another bigger
At first,
United
yeah.
Nation.
And
Yeah.
when I come here, oh, everyone is everywhere. Like
Mm.
I'm really like Korea. Some of them are from Japan. So I'm like, wow, I really get to know. people from different culture, how they work as a nurse in their place, and how they actually find Australian nursing is really, for the better and for their family and for themselves. It's more to work-life balance. Mm.
Oh, okay. And then, wow, you're really selling this, Sheila. Like, I think a lot of us
Um,
are, I think
it all
a lot of us
depends, you
are
see.
pretty sold already. Yeah.
Come here.
God willing lah, God willing. Anyway, okay, thank you, Sheila, on our first question only. I think we have a couple more to go. Um,
Okay.
right. Okay, so I think we start with the more technical stuff first lah. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I think you mentioned a couple of it just now in regards to the PR and all that. Um, so I think to begin with, right, I think most of us would want to know what are the requirements and the process. Like, how do we even start applying? Yeah, and yeah.
Okay, if you are an enrolled nurse in Singapore, I can say you can't really have that criteria being successful to come as a EN in Australia. So as a
Okay.
EN, you can't. But if you are RN, you definitely have to complete your bachelor in nursing and
Mm,
at least have a minimum of 2 to 3 years of nursing experience in a general, should I say, public healthcare setting.
right,
All
restructured
right.
lah. Right.
Yeah, definite. In restructure hospital would be great.
Mm,
And apparently, yeah, so another thing about degree is I always want to emphasize is that you make sure that you go and you know apply for a very reputable university in Singapore
oh, okay.
because what I'm trying to say here is that there are certain university, yes, it can be considered cheap, but sometimes there are universities in Singapore, they will just close shop and then they just leave the student hanging. And then when
Mm.
these students say, "Oh, I got a degree," but they are not actually recognized in Australia, and they have to take another degree that is recognized in Australia. So
Oh,
honestly,
right.
you have to really make sure you have a reputable. The best, if you want to come to Australia, get a degree in Australia, like based in Australia, like
Mm,
CURT,
okay.
or SIM, something like that.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's very good advice. Oh, thanks for the heads up,
Well, you
Shields.
can have every degree in any part of the world, just that make sure you have that,
A
um,
reputable one,
you know, reputable one, like
Mm.
NUS, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. So that's the so 2 to 3 years of nursing experience in the structured setting. And RNs need a bachelor's degree lah.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I saw a comment from Rouse Moments that with the
Mm.
NUS part-time nursing degree, yes, of course, they recognize. At the end of the day, it's still a degree at the end of the day. Yes.
Mm. Okay, okay. What are the requirements, Kak Shields? Okay, I think Sheila already mentioned the requirements. If you
And
if you want me to
also,
recap, can ask lah.
yeah, and also the most important thing is that you need to make sure you pass your IELTS academic.
Oh, the
Okay,
English
yeah,
test, right?
so you can take IELTS, you can take OET or another thing. I don't know
Mm.
what is that. It's like PTE or something, which I don't really know what are those two. But I took IELTS and it's not easy. Despite I passed my masters and I did my thesis and I just can't pass my academy up
Oh,
to 3 times. So I
wow.
wasted that period of doing IELTS academy. So again, everyone is different. Okay, maybe I didn't prepare myself for the first and the second IELTS, but I
Mm.
was very serious because I wasted money. It's almost 1,000 for all the IELTS, and
Wow.
it's like yeah, and it's like um you really have to study and really, go through YouTube, go through all the books, whatever tips that they have in the internet, and then, just get through it. Because if
Mm.
you can't pass your IEL academics or anything like PTE, OET, you can't actually go for the next step. Mm.
Oh, right, right. Okay. So let's recap, 2 to 3 years experience, degree,
Yeah,
and pass
yeah,
your IELTS. essentially the requirements lah that you need.
Yes, correct. Yeah, so like I say, you will have to go through a lot of tedious paperwork and
Mm,
documentation.
I can imagine.
For myself, I personally prefer to go through a agency, a
Okay,
immigration agency. Well, of course, I always say the reputable one.
okay.
Okay. Um,
They
I'm
run with
not,
your money, yeah.
I'm not, I'm not promoting, but okay, everyone is different. Okay, but I
Yeah.
have a very smooth, smooth and should I say journey
Mm.
with AIMS. If you've heard AIMS, AIMS, I don't
AIMS.
know what it stands for,
I
but
don't. But
yeah,
it's
it's an
okay. I will look
agency.
it up.
So, yeah, so this AIMS agency, they're really good, and they are also migration lawyer. Where some of my friends, they actually use migration lawyer, and they also had go through smoothly.
Mm,
And some of them even they are very hardworking, they can do themselves. Okay, but there's always an issue where you have if you didn't do a proper documentation, whoever site that you are applying here, they will always say, oh, something is not right, there's an error, so can you send back, send here. So it's like really tedious.
oh.
So for me, so far my application has gone through step by step and smoothly with the agency that I approached to. Just that you have to fork out money because they are doing so you have to collect all the paperwork. So you have to collect you make sure that you have all your relevant certificates
Mm,
or your transcript, and then they will ask you to make sure you go to your school, and then you have to collect all the information like what modules that you have gone through, like every single thing. So you have to find out from your school. So if you
mm.
go to Nian, you have to share what are the modules that you have gone through. They will have to
Okay, okay.
email to you, and it's just like you have to make sure that the school prepare for you all this stuff, and the unis that you went to, you have to prepare all these whatever course curriculum, should I say course curriculum,
Mm,
and then what else? Of course, you have to do, and then once you do that, you have to go through. So you pass your IELTS, right?
mhm,
Then once you pass your IELTS, you can starting to apply for registration assessment, which is an MBA, which is under AFPRA, which is the Australian Nursing
mm.
Midwifery. Some. You say I
The
forgot. AFPRA is like
Aus-
like macam
no, the nursing
the
board lah.
agency. Yeah, SNBA,
Okay.
SNBA.
SMB,
Yeah.
SMB.
Forget. Sorry. So then so after that you got all these requirement, right? It's already set, and then they will let you know, okay, you can go and proceed to the next step. Okay, so
Mm,
once you got through APRA requirement and assessment, and they say, okay, good to go, it will take like almost few months also, like 5 to 6 months worth with COVID, and you have to come to Australia just to present yourself for identity purposes. So I actually spent $800 just to come and attend to APRA, any of the states, just to show and prove myself.
oh,
And that's one point of time. That's later part.
okay. Is it like
So
a interview or something like that? Or just
no,
like
it's just you want to
show
make
face
sure
like
you're
that?
the right person. So you have to bring everything and then show them that, hey, I'm here, I'm the correct person. And then once from that stage, then only they will actually say, okay, wait for a few months or how many weeks later, then they will show that, okay, um, they will say that, okay, I saw something,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
something
Me too.
comment. So then they will actually say that okay, you're approved, you're fully qualified as an RN in Australia
Oh.
without any other lapse. So once you got the APRA registration, right, then you have to apply for your visa. Okay, so that's another process. So that's called NMAC. So you have to go through
Wow.
NMAC, which is it's like a accreditation council. Okay, it's
Mm-hmm.
still under the Australian Nursing
Mm.
Foundation, but where they just have to make sure that you are being set on which category that you can apply for your visa. So it takes a few weeks, a few months, depending. So once you got that, for example, like me, I'm an ICU nurse.
Mm-hmm.
So my criteria will be fit as a critical care registered nurse emergency. So that will be an MAC job. They just want to make sure that you are fit in whatever required nursing that's needed in Australia. Like,
Wow.
current nursing that is really needed is like medical, surgical, ICU, ED,
Mm.
aged care, palliative, anesthetics, and there's so much more, but just I'm telling you, this is the sellable, should I say
Oh.
sellable, for you to come here as an RNA, easily for you to get a job. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, and then, after the NMAC, so there's another, so after you got all visa requirement done, the NMAC will tell you, okay, you're able to proceed to apply for your visa. So meaning
Wow.
it will take about 1.5 years to 2 years for you to have all these things done, and
Wow.
then only you will get your visa approved. Because again, it's all about permanent residency. If you want permanent residency, it will take some time.
Mm-hmm.
So in permanent residency, there will be two types. Either it's a skilled immigration
Mm.
visa, the PR, or it's an independent visa where you can actually go around anywhere, any states in Australia and work and live and stay happily ever after. But like if it's independent, you have to choose for a sponsored state. Like for me, I chose at first I applied for NSW, but
Uh,
it took a while. So I actually say, why not I try Victoria?
mm.
Victoria. And then I tried Victoria and it was so fast. They came back and I got into the nominated list. And then
Mm.
after that, I applied and go further for my PR. Well, there are other types of visa. You can, if you are like 30 years old and below, I think there are more choice. Like you can do a working holiday visa, whatever it is, you still have to have your APRA registration, and you can have other types of visa. Like if you can't get permanent residency, you can try to go for like regional visa. That's where I saw a question that was coming from the viewers where they asked, do you have to go to Ulu place? Yes, that's where it's not really
Uh,
Ulu. The Ulu is because it's just far away from the metropolitan area.
is it like
So
the suburbs?
yeah, yeah, we call it the suburbs, but the
Mm.
suburb is like should be about 2 hours or 2 hours away from the city.
Mm.
Yeah, so but most of the suburb nowadays are really nice. If I'm talking about Australia itself, there are suburbs like really beautiful to stay.
Mm.
And also there are places like Tasmania if you really like something really quiet. NZ, like, yeah,
Wow.
Tassie is really nice. But if you feel like you want that, if in like in Sydney is really very can I say very Singaporean. So
Very
and it's
city
very
life lah.
expensive. Yeah,
Mm.
it's very expensive for you to buy a home in the future.
Okay.
So think about something like Perth if you want to be near to Singapore, like 4 to 5 hours away from home. Yeah, so some of them they prefer to be in Perth because it's so near. But I've been to Perth, but it's just not my favorite states yet. So I
Okay.
like Victoria because it's really multicultural. It's like everyone in here. You won't really miss home because you feel like you're in when there's a Korean festival, there will be Korean festival here, there will be like so many other Turkish festival, there's like so many things here. You have even Singapore Day. So it's like you're not far away from home. So
Oh.
so what I'm trying to say is that you got all these PR, you have different types of visa with different type of payment fee. So you can range. If you are just a single person, you just have to look at about 12 to 15K, and it will add on like 3,000.
Mm.
I think it's about 1,000 plus or 3,000. If I can't remember the fees, but for any additional adults, like your dependent, which is your
Mm.
kids, and your spouse, then you will have to pay extra from that amount. That doesn't include your flights.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
And your
All right.
stay, your rental, everything. Yes.
Okay. All right. Uh,
So what I'm trying to tell you here, you need lots of saving, guys. So if you have your bonus 4,000 later, so make sure you
up
save
to
that
they say.
amount. Yeah, you save that money, and then after your bonuses, if you already plan to come to somewhere in Australia, just save as much money. Meaning your visa is gonna be taking up about 16 to 20K, right? And then just to settle down in Australia, you need about at least 15 to 25K for a few months, because some of them are lucky to get a job really
Mm.
fast, and some of them are not really lucky to get a job within few months, but some of them are very lucky. Like myself, I am very lucky to get a job just before I enter to Melbourne.
Okay. Okay,
You got
that
what I
sounds
mean? Yeah.
interesting. So, Sheila, so you went to Australia first, then you got a job, is it?
No, I applied the job offshore. When I say offshore, meaning in Singapore,
Okay,
and I got
okay,
all the interview via phone,
okay.
like just normal phone interview.
Phone, ah? Oh,
And
not even Zoom, is it?
yeah, it's so weird. I never, it's not even like Zoom. Last time it's not really Zoom. It's not really popular.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, it was just via phone, and then my manager just questioned me like few things like, and then 2 weeks later I got a job offer, and I go through via seek.com. Mm.
Seat.com. Okay, okay.
SEEK.
SEEK. All right, okay.
Well, there
Interesting.
are also other platforms that you can actually apply job. Sometimes connection is very important. I mean, what should I say? Like connection, friends. Sometimes they can,
Networking, ah?
or yeah, networking is really important. So don't be shy.
Mm,
Sometimes in here the numbers of Singaporeans is not really large in amount. So we always try to help each other as a community.
mm,
So it would be great to help, whoever, if you want to come and join nursing in Australia. If I have connections based on your specialty, I can always try to connect you with anyone that I know. And it's like, yeah, we'll try our best to help. Yeah, but look, there's so many job available right now because of the pandemic.
mm,
We definitely need lots of support in overseas nurses. Yeah, and where we are actually having all these mandatory vaccination for nurses, and some of the nurses might not be able to get through the vaccine. So
mm,
people leave their, nursing career just because of this. So there are definitely a lot of opportunity, be it in regional or in the metropolitan area, as long you are not, should I say, not cerewet like that. You're
Not
fine with
fussy, ah?
everything. You're not fussy. Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah, so yeah, and just be humble wherever you go. People will definitely help you. Mm.
okay, okay. Yeah, I think that's essentially the attitude that we should have lah, regardless. If we don't know, just ask and yeah lah, and then make friends along the way. Right.
So, talking about that, if you want to ask me, I saw questions that was being asked. What are like whether I found there's any racism or not
Mm.
in Australia? The good thing is I didn't have any
Okay.
racism that I face, be it from my colleagues. Well, of course, you don't feel like every single thing is racist. Sometimes I don't understand the Australian accent. I have to pick up, and my Australian friends, my colleagues, taught me how to understand and speak like an Aussie. Yeah. So it's really interesting. And that's like, hey, you're already here. You have to speak like an Aussie. So it's really nice that people want to teach me how to speak like an Aussie. You
Mm.
feel very local,
Mm.
and but you don't need to be them. You don't need to change your accent just to be part of the the people around you. Just be you.
Mm.
Be ori, be
Yeah,
original.
yeah. True.
The problem about Singaporean is not only nurses, it's just us. We have this a bit of a kanchongness in us
Mm.
sometimes. We bring this in to here,
Okay.
so we got to chill out. We got to really chill because um, you just have to move on from whatever that is in Singapore, and
Mm.
you really, yes, you can compare, but look, how should I say, you're already in, you do have to do what the Romans do, when you're here.
Mm.
So
True.
just be respectful with the policies. They might have a different policies. You can say,
Mm.
oh, in Singapore, this is how we do. We can share with them. Okay.
Mm.
and they know Singapore has a very, good healthcare. Okay, we are one of the top in leading in healthcare. And whenever
Mm,
I tell my patients that I'm from Singapore, why are you here? Like, why?
mm,
Like, Singapore is a great country. Why do you have to come here? Like, but I explain to them because I like to have different experience and
mm,
exposure, and they'll be very respectful with towards your understanding of why you want to be with in Australia as a nurse. And colleagues wise, anywhere have politics. You can't run away. So that's why I
mm,
say the good thing is I'm here. I work as a part time everywhere,
mm,
and I work as casual, so I don't really have to bother about all these gossips and everything. So I just want to
mm.
come to work and be happy and just do my work and
Mm.
finish and sign out. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
good.
that's the good thing. Yeah,
Mm,
when you can work part time in public, part time in private hospital, and you can even do casual anywhere. And you still earn the money.
mm. Well, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. It's like it's flexible in that sense, and yeah, and no
Yeah,
restrictions
as
regards to that.
whatever that Dan has mentioned, you have to really let go in whatever that you think about Singapore. You have to really start afresh here. Okay, when you, for example, you might have issues like if you have lived and grow up with a caregiver like a maid, right?
Mm.
You have to understand here we don't have like a maid
Nasi
for
mampang.
us, a
Oh.
caregiver, helper. You have to pay, and it's really expensive like as nanny. So
Mm.
if you're married and you have kids, so someone like maybe the wife has to work, the husband will be the um house husband now.
Husband.
So that's
Is it very?
normal. That's very
Yeah, yeah.
normal. And you still have enough support. The money that you earn should be more than enough. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
just someone have to work as a full time, someone stays at home and take care of the kids. And in fact, if in Australia, we have remember I said yeah we pay tax,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, you know where your money comes when you really need help. So let me share with you what happened to me just 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
So I had a car accident and I had a whiplash. So
Oh.
I had, yeah, I was really having a bad shape. So what happened is that in Australia we have this called a TAC, like transport accident claim kind of
Mm.
thing. So um, I just have to, do all this application, and then I got insured, not insured, like I got really support like for my chiro, extensive chiro, okay, like
Oh.
really good chiro. And
Mm.
after 3 months, I actually healed from the very bad whiplash injury that I had. It was really bad.
Mm.
So, and if you have issues at work and you fell, you have a work um it's like a work kind of a support scheme, something like that.
Mm.
I forgot. My God, it's not Korean. It's 10:30 here, so like,
It's okay. We understand.
yeah. And then it's like, for example, my husband, he had an injury at work, so he was all well covered for almost few months for his operation, and he's off from work and still being paid for like
Oh.
almost few months. It's not that we're making use of the benefit, but look, it's really helpful. We know that you pay tax, but if you really need something, s- something can be done
Okay.
for you. Like there's something
Right.
that's help for you. Yeah.
Okay. So in that sense, the medical coverage is somewhat better there, is it? Because of the higher tax that you pay lah.
Yes, I honestly think it is, but just letting you know, because of the free healthcare, of course, if you're in a public system, you will have to wait for a longer waiting time.
Mm.
That's normal, right?
Yeah.
So I always advise, it really depends. If you have the extra money, if you want to be in Australia as a permanent resident or citizen, then you can actually apply for insurance,
Mm.
and that covers your family.
Okay.
Yeah, and the good thing about Australia is that they have this thing called Meet Extra, all these extras, insurance where you can get free eye checkup and free, prescription,
Oh.
chiro or remedial massage, that kind of stuff. just to help reduce your tax. There are so many other ways that you can help to reduce the tax and get
Oh,
all the money back. So if you
okay.
have kids, and then if let's say you're RN and you're going to go for some course, you can,
Mm-hmm.
get all these rebates. And if you can just claim it, just claim like
Oh,
your
okay.
stethoscope, your shoes, your uniform, your whatever stuff that you need to use based on your career.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Then that's how people don't lose their money here.
Right, right. Because I
Yeah.
always have this perception that the tax rate is very high in Australia. That at the end of the day, it's like not really worth it. But now that you mentioned that there are ways to
Okay.
um
Just
go around it.
I forgot to mention also that you have to really understand that in Singapore, what we have is that, oh, we have bonus and it's all based on performance bonus.
Mm,
If you take sick leave, like a lot, something happened that particular year,
mm-hmm.
you know, it just happened that, um, let's say you take a lot of sick leave. Your
Ah,
boss will be telling you, sorry, Sheila, I know you are very good, but you see, based on this senior RN and based on this senior RN, you see, she's not really good, but she has not taken sick leave, so she worked harder than me.
mm,
So maybe she'll get A and I'll get B, or I don't even get B even because I got so much of sick leave. So
mm,
it's all based on performance bonus. If you're bad, if let's say on that particular you just boch up, you get very bad marks, and then you won't get the money, right?
yeah, that's
But
true.
in Australia, there's no such thing as bonus. So you are paid for what you are. So you work more, you pay. You
Okay.
have more pay, but you will have to pay tax more. But you need to make sure you know how to pay your tax. So you will have like all the financial people will help you, the broker, whoever will help
Mm.
you with the tax every year. So not to worry about the tax at
Oh,
all. I got so many of my friends who got money back like 8,000, 6,000, just claim just like that. So don't worry
wow.
about the tax.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you getting me excited. Okay.
Yeah, so like my friends here, Tina, she said that family tax benefit, so it helps with kids and childcare, so like rent. So if you have kids, will be great. Mm.
Okay,
And
okay.
I've got like for example some of my friends who have a certain threshold amount per annual. So if you let's say for example your annual payout is less than 80K and you're the
Mm,
only person working and let's say you're the house husband, right?
mm-hmm.
So you will get paid by the government just to support being a
Wow.
caregiver. Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
I have a very good friend of mine they have like 5 to 6 kids. They have 6 kids, so the
Okay.
wife really works, and the kid has an autism.
Mm-hmm.
So the husband, someone have to stay at home, right? So he's being paid to be the caregiver. So it's really good.
Wow.
And yeah, if
Okay,
you have,
okay.
and the good thing that we have very good schools for disability children.
Mm,
So you are really, should I say, I'm not saying everything is good in
yeah.
Australia. Okay, you have to really drive. You have to have a car. You need to, so both of you, if you're married, you have to drive. If you don't
Mm,
want to drive, you have to stay near the cities or near to all the transportation area that is easy
mm,
for you to access, right?
yeah.
So that's another part of it. There's so many other things, but I'm just saying that just listen to the good thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Of course, like I say, if you have no one in here in Australia, you will feel very lonely, and that's where you feel homesick.
Mm,
Okay, and you will feel like you're giving up. So
yeah.
always make friends and don't be shy. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wow. I think yeah, I think information overload lah, Sheila. Wow, that's a lot
Oh,
of
sorry.
information. That was a lot of information. I think a lot of people will rewatch this lah, especially on the process part. Yeah. Okay, okay. Let's go stand a bit, backtrack a bit.
Ghost time. Okay.
Yeah, go
Ghost
stand a
time.
bit. So in short, in summary, how much did you had to fork out uh to come to Australia?
Okay, like I say, the visa itself is about 16 to 20K, me and my husband. Okay.
Okay.
And then that is all from my IELTS until towards my visa application, with
Okay.
all the lawyers' fees that you have to get a stamp for notary
Okay. Okay.
stuff, you know. So that's another thing. And then followed on, I need at least about 15 to 25K
Okay.
to settle
Oh,
down here,
okay.
because
Okay.
yeah, like my husband, he used to work in a management back home in
Mm.
Resort World, but he have to start from scratch. So he's not shy either. He's,
Mm.
yeah, of course, some guys they have ego. Not only guys, everyone, you know.
Mm.
Oh, I work as a manager. I work as a boss in
Yeah. Yeah.
Singapore, and then here I have to do Uber. I have to do food delivery. You have to start as casual. You have to become like someone who pick up box. You know
Mm.
all these things. But look, every single money is really money, which is, you know, there's always a minimal wage over in Australia.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I again, if you are really not shy, you're humble, you will always definitely manage to get a job. If you really can't find a job based on your current career, you have to really find a way to, um, pick up courses.
Mm.
There are
Upgrade
some
yourself lah.
people, yeah, not only upgrade yourself. There are some of my friends that I know, for example, I'm not sure, I'm not just promoting. There are some certain things like, okay, I'm a police officer. For
Mm.
example, they work as a police officer in Singapore,
Yeah.
but they can't work anything like into a government public
Mm.
system, right, in
Yeah.
Australia. So they have to work as something else. So they pick up short courses like
Okay.
as apa tu CSSD technician
Okay. Okay.
course, short course, and they earn good amount of money per month as to compare in Singapore. Trust me. So yeah, it's a lot of whether you work as a cleaner, you're still being paid well. Trust
Mm.
me, because you're not gonna be paid like how you're being paid in Singapore.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Oh, that's good to
yeah,
know. Okay, and Dan here says at the end of the day, you need to understand that the land is not always greener on the other side. If you decide to
yes,
come here,
correct,
you need to be mentally prepared that everything doesn't go to plan. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
exactly, true.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow, that's very interesting, Sheila. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
very happy that some of my friends that I know who are in this live, they are also sharing their experience here.
Mm.
So yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And okay, so sorry, Ashil, I have a couple more questions lah.
Yeah, of course.
Is it past your bedtime?
Oh no, that's fine. It's a weekend.
Okay, we can. Right.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. So then the next thing about, I think most of us are curious, right? Is actually the nursing culture itself, lah. I think you probably know how the nursing culture is in Singapore. Like to me, I find it very regimental in that sense, lah. So maybe you
What do you
could,
sorry? What do you sorry? What
uh,
you find
uh,
it?
regimental, lah. Like being in the army like that,
Meaning,
lah. Yeah, I think it's worse than the army, lah, sometimes.
all right,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. So, um, maybe you can enlighten us how it differs in Australia and in Singapore. I mean, you can
okay,
say, you can put it, you can put it bluntly, lah. I think, most of us can accept it, lah.
all right, okay. I can say um honestly, okay, based on my experience back home in Singapore for nearly 10 years as a
Mm,
nurse, okay,
it's long
be it
enough. Yeah.
whether I'm in public or in private
Mm,
hospital, okay. Now, um, politics is really bad sometimes. This is what I think. Like what you say, you have to do this means you have to do this. You can't go beyond. Yeah,
mm,
okay. You can't show much of your tattoos. I'm not saying that I
mm,
have tattoos, but I'm saying that you can have tattoos there. Like here in Australia, you can have tattoos
mm,
everywhere, big, small, color. You can have colored hair, what color you want. You don't need to do a bun on your hair.
mm,
Like it's not like very SIA looking kind of professionalism that you want. That you
mm,
have to be back home. I mean, in Singapore, right? Um, but in Australia, be who you are. Like you can be whatever you want. You want to have tattoos. You want
mm,
to. You are well respected because of your profession, not because of how you look. Okay,
mm,
back home, I remembered I look like, okay, I just share with you my past, okay? When I was
Can.
at 20s, for example, when I was very newly RN, okay, I was not really welcome in ICU, okay, because
Mm.
they think that I look like a minare. I like to make up. I'm serious.
Minarip is actually an alien,
People judge
uh,
you.
a Malay
People
alien
judge
entities.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's like they judge you, and they they think like, okay, you look like you cannot make it, and
Mm.
you have to really work hard to make sure that people trust you, and
Mm.
you really have to work from scratch just to make sure that your senior RN, your SSN, you call it,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
have to please them, right?
Mm.
So the, sometimes it's like they always eat the youngs. That's what I felt.
Mm.
And after that, people, so your NCs, your nurse manager, always looking at you, whether you wear white socks, whether you wear black shoe, whether it's too short, whether you wear this and that, whether
Oh my
the
God.
color of
I
your
think it's the
hair.
same everywhere, huh?
Not
This.
in
Okay. Okay.
Australia. Not in
Okay.
Australia.
Okay.
So
Okay.
my I have very good bosses right here
Mm.
in Australia. They are very well supportive. You can wear hijab, all
Mm.
right? You can wear hijab to work. Nobody will say anything, okay? Because it's against the HR rules
Mm.
that you have to give your comments. If you are also a LGBT, you
Mm.
can't say anything. You can't comment on that because this is their right. So you can be who you are and whatever you are. So be you. So in Australia, you're original. I'm just
Okay.
saying that there's no much of an issue. Just that when I think back, just when you ask me about the questions about my history back home, how
Mm.
I find it different in Singapore and in Australia, I find that in Australia is much more open minded.
Mm.
In
Okay.
terms of my colleagues, yeah, it's
Yeah.
very rigid. I can say, yeah, it's too rigid, and the good thing about the policies is that unlike is you can go beyond out of the box. Like you don't need to be strictly, oh, the policy says so. But
Mm.
and I like it that the consultant, actually trust my judgment,
Mm.
and they actually give me more like how should I say advocates,
Mm.
become the patient advocates. Like they really just say, oh yeah, sure, you're really involved in there, and they call you by name. They don't,
Mm.
and you call them doctors by name.
Mm.
You don't call them doctor, like
Yeah.
doctor someone, you call them, hey, how are you, mate? They kind of thing. So it's like
Uh,
you feel like you work as a team.
it feels
So
very
back home,
cohesive lah.
and if, yeah, if
Mm.
the doctors are rude, we can always complain. If there's a
Mm.
issues with your current work situation, we have a federation, like a nursing union, which is really strong.
Mm.
And be it whether you are in public or private system, your pay scale is not going to be so far different than
Mm.
in
Okay.
wherever you work. So meaning in Singapore, you can in public they pay you as such, in private they can pay you as high, right? And the
Yeah.
pay scale can be so high, like lots
Mm.
of different. But in here, in Australia, no, there's no such thing. Even so, it's just like $1 difference,
Oh,
yeah, per
so
hour.
okay,
So
okay.
if you're asking me how much is the pay scale, it can
Uh,
varies from as a RN itself from grade one. It can goes from $32 up to $46. So yeah, if you're year 10, you're a very well experienced nurse, you will be having $46, $45 per hour.
AUD lah, 46 AUD,
Yeah,
Australian dollars
correct.
lah. Oh,
So if you want to ask
wow.
me monthly how much you will be getting uh, per month, so it will be about around 6,000, should I say? 5.6 to 6,000 per
Okay.
month. That is just a basic. If you work overtime, you can work overtime if you're full
Mm.
time or more than the overtime hours.
Mm.
Sorry, what I'm saying. So if you work more than the full time hours, you are
Mm.
paid your overtime. So it can be 1.5 to 2, 2.0 per hour. So meaning if you're $45, you get $90 per
Right.
hour if you
Wow, that's
work
good money, eh?
overtime.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so yeah, that's really good.
So Sheila, so for full timers, right? How? many hours do they need to commit in 1 week?
Okay, so it will be 36, so 76 hours per fortnight. We do as fortnight here, so
Oh,
yeah, 2 weeks.
wow,
Yeah, so every
wow,
2 weeks we have pay.
wow. Good,
Yeah,
ah. Oh man. Okay, okay. I'm having a
yeah,
lot of thoughts right now. Okay, all right, right. Wow, this is very good. So thank you, Sheila. In regards to the culture part, right? Yeah lah, I have to say, since you left, nothing much has changed over here. It's still
yeah,
very army style. While I can say that the nursing, in terms of uh, how to say, advancements, right, in Singapore, nursing has advanced lah. But in terms of this culture, right, nursing culture in Singapore, I don't think it has differed a lot lah. The regimental thing is still going on. Nurses eating their young is still happening. Being being picked on hair color, colored shoes, colored socks, it's still happening lah. Uh,
yeah. So I'm very, very peaceful when I'm here. I never had people because I myself, I'm also A&M, like I'm in management. So this is nothing like I need to pick up on my staff or my colleagues. We are more to on clinical practice. We want safety in
yeah,
our
that's what I say.
patients and our care. We think that that's why we say about profession. It's not about how you look. You can be whatever you want to look like. Of course, you just
Mm,
have to make sure you look neat and
yeah
tidy,
lah,
But
presentable
there's
lah.
no judgment. Like if you have tattoos or you have
Mm,
colored hair. I remember there's one time my hair was too bright, and I was being called and say that Sheila, I know you're good, but I've received comments from your NC, from your this one, from your that one, but you still our top nurse, but I don't care whether I'm top nurse, but I'm just so sick with this comment. Like,
mm,
does that makes me be a bad nurse just because I like to dye my hair, something like that?
mm.
Yeah.
I
Mm,
understand how you feel.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is just a small little things, but I'm more to like being open to policies and
Mm,
understanding where different hospital, like for example, the funny thing about in Singapore, like we are small, but we can't share policies, right?
mm,
Like
sure.
for example, Health versus NUHS, something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But
correct.
in here, we can share the policies. Like we just share around because we're gonna work. I work in public and I work in private. We just have to see, oh, which one is better, and then you can work on things. So there's no hiding. There's no such thing where you can't print out and share, blah blah blah.
Mm,
No, we can really, work around with it.
mm.
That's one thing I like. It's very open.
Alright, that's very good. I think okay, okay.
Mm.
Wait, let me see some of the comments. Looks like you're considering. Yes, I'm low key considering lah, but no plans yet lah. Okay, okay then. I think just now you mentioned something about how you are being treated in Australia. You are treated for who you are, right? And then so the next part I want to ask is actually how patients actually treat you, because sometimes over here our Singaporean patients can be very challenging, very demanding in that sense. Yeah. So is it the same in Australia? Because humans are still humans. Humans can still demand things. So, but I'm not too sure if it's the same in Australia lah.
Okay, so basically, just have to understand that in Australia, you have druggies.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have people who are heavily drinkers,
Mm.
drunks. So they will, they're just bogans. When I say bogans, means they don't like just heck care with their life. They would just
Organs.
F you every time.
Is that
So
an
like,
Australian slang?
oh yes, so it's like
Okay.
yes. So what I'm trying to say is they not really welcoming, meaning it's just because of their they have a very low IQ, should I say,
Okay.
and low
Okay.
EQ. It's just their mood swing. But hey, look, most of the patients, they are really independent.
Hmm.
If they are really demanding, it's because they really need help.
Okay.
Because in here the mentality is we want them to be as independent as they can, because most of them are staying in their home and care for themselves. So they, what I mean is that we want them to be as independent. I mean, you don't
Hmm.
you try to motivate them. Hey, okay, can you try to stand? Can you try your best? Okay, and because at the end of the day, they will come back home and they have two-story house. Who's
Yes.
gonna help them? So we'll try to make the patient as independent. In terms of how they treat you, well, it's the same as in Singapore, but I honestly tell you, they are much more respectful. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm. So
That's very good to know lah. Um,
yeah,
okay, yeah, I think in respect to what you mentioned that you really want them to be independent, right? I think that somehow has made them have this mentality that I need to be independent. I cannot be too reliant on people, and I think that's the opposite in Singapore. In Singapore, we
yeah.
like really jaga them, like make sure
Because,
everything is
and
yeah,
also you have to understand, we have that capability to, employ like a caregiver or helper
yeah,
to help you
yeah,
if you're not well. So that's the reason, like everything you just, like someone will
mm,
feed you, blah blah blah. But here we'll try as much as we can to get the patient to be back on track, and they will
mm,
be more than happy to be independent. Sometimes they feel so shy that we want to help them, like to clean them
yeah,
up. They say, "Oh my God, I feel so terrible, like asking you guys to do." And they are private paying
okay,
patients, so it's
oh,
really
okay,
weird. Most of my private patients are really nice,
oh,
and yeah, so far I have a very wonderful experience. Of course, you will see someone who is on and off. You will hear like they are, a little bit racist, but not really racist just because of white. Just that, even in Singapore, they I don't want that nurse or Chinese or
mm,
Indian or Malay nurse, something like
mm,
that, or you want that
yeah,
Filipino nurse, something like that. So
mm,
that kind, but they are not against because of your background. It's just sometimes it's just not your chemistry. Okay, take it that
yeah,
way.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, I understand. Wow, okay. Okay, Sheila, what time we start? 7:30, right?
Yeah, we start like 10:30.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay, okay.
yeah, 7:30.
Alright.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 hour already. Okay, okay. I try to close shop soon, and
Yeah, no
okay.
worries.
All right. Okay. So we covered a few things already. The administrative part, the culture part in terms of patient, the working culture and everything. And it seems that most of it is inclined towards Australia, for some reason. I think, yeah. So means Singapore has a
Well,
lot of work
just
to
to
do.
let you know, because as an ICU nurse, I can only
Mm.
talk about my ICU nursing, and I can also talk about the nursing ratio. They are very strict in Australia.
Okay.
So we can even not close, should I say, we cap a certain emissions or certain amount, certain patient care if there's
Mm.
not enough staff, because we don't want to stretch the staff in view of safety.
Right.
So meaning like myself as an ICU nurse, if you're having a ventilated patient, you
Mm.
nursing them 1:1. Well, minus the COVID situation. But what I'm saying, most of the time you nurse 1:1 for ventilated patient. And then HDU is usually 1:2.
Mm.
And then in the wards itself, maximum in the nighttime is 1:8 nursing ratio.
Wow.
Usually, yeah. And then
Okay.
in the day it will be 1:5 or 1:6.
Okay. Okay.
So it's like how we are in Singapore last like few years ago, when I remember we tried to, but most of the time we keep stretching to 10 even on the
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's something that I just want to share, that we are particular on the staff nursing ratio. We don't want to have burnout, and you can take mental, should I say, you can take like mental rest day or something, like
Oh.
mental health day. Yeah,
Okay.
if you're
Okay.
really feeling well, you have enough. Like you can really go for a month's annual leave. The more you work, the more leave you have.
Mm.
So this it's not like in Singapore where you have only 21 days of annual leave per year or 14 days of sick leave. But here is all based on how many hours you've been contributing your working hours in the particular hospital that you're working.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well-being day. Okay. Wow,
Sorry, thank
that's
you. Yeah,
that. Well
well,
being
you
there.
did. Thanks, Tina.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
nice. That's nice to know. Be humble, be open to networking, and be mentally prepared. Okay,
yeah.
right. And thank you for hosting this. No, thanks Sheila for being here.
My pleasure, guys.
Okay. I think let's wrap this up lah with a last question. I think my kids also are calling me already lah. So all right. So last question. What do I need to prepare to what do I need to prepare before actually going to Australia? In a nutshell lah. Yeah.
What do you have to remember? Just if you have the will, you have the way. Okay, you
Mm,
have to know how to learn how to sacrifice. Just when I say sacrifice, because I have a very close knit family, and it's really
mm,
sad because I actually got my PR 1 year before, then only decided to move to Melbourne because I want to spend as much time. So you have to really be, strong. Like you
mm,
have to leave your family and be independent here. Me and just my husband. So we have no one. We have to start from scratch. And then slowly we build up all the friendship and we have made very, very good friends and community right here.
mm.
In fact, the good thing is, like I'm sharing, you can even do business despite you're working as a
Oh,
nurse. So
okay.
yeah, when I'm free, I like my husband, all of us, we have our small little business just to help with the taxation, so we
Mm,
can reduce your tax. So that's another thing. But again, back to the question, you have to be strong. If you really have the will, don't go half-hearted because if you're half-hearted, you're just not gonna get there. So like me, I already know when I was in first year in nursing, my and my dream was to move somewhere to
mm,
go and be a nurse in somewhere. So I've already started since I start nursing. So I really persevere and endure and find my way out to be where I am right now.
mm,
You see? So just remember, go for your IELTS or whatever needed money you have to really save. You need to really talk. If you're married, you really have to talk things out with your partner
mm.
so that you guys know what is really good for you, like your pros and cons.
Right.
Someone
Yeah.
have to take the sacrifices, like
Yeah.
who's gonna be taking care of the kids, who's gonna work. For example, if you're a nurse, it's easier for you to have a job. Okay, whereas
Okay.
if you're in IT or you're in some, like other jobs, like it all depends in your luck. So if you have the luck to get a job just before you arrive in Melbourne, or I mean in Australia, it is really good luck. But
Mm,
it really takes some of them even have like 6 months to a year to find a job. They have to really go for a short course. They have to be a voluntary unpaid kind of stuff where you just need experience because in Australia they like to have local experience. So
mm.
you really have to sell yourself. And yeah, so for if you really want to be in Australia, you just have to be good with all your current bosses. Make sure they give you very good testimonials because you need that for your
Okay.
registration later.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, this is really important. So and what else? Other than that, just go with an open heart and
Mm.
open
It's
mind
true.
because trust me, it's really something different right here. Everyone has been very welcoming from the day that I entered as a permanent resident
Mm.
in Australia. They will always say welcome, 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 and yeah, here you go. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Sheila. I think that is very encouraging to know that things are better on your end, and I think it will probably inspire a lot of listeners here. I think a lot of people here like very on already want to go Australia. So thank you
Yes.
for, Sheila, for being here, and also thank
No
you
worries.
for your time. I know it's very late over there, and
That's fine.
yeah, and I think we really appreciate this session. Oh, sorry, I have one more question for you. Sorry,
Yes.
one more question. Is there recommended age or not for anyone to go there? Is there like a
There's
cut-off age?
definitely there's definitely a cutoff age for the visa itself. So if I'm not wrong, try not to be anything more than 45.
40, 45.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Still got time.
me, me, if I'm not wrong, okay, I might be
Okay.
wrong. Maybe someone can help me, whoever my friend here. Where's the couple? Maybe there are someone. Um, Honestly, you should not wait too long. Okay.
Okay, okay. Earlier the better lah.
Yeah, the younger the better.
Okay,
Yes,
younger the
correct.
better lah. Okay, sorry. One more question here from Prof. Nisha. Would it be easier to be licensed if I'm registered with NZ Nurse Council?
Oh, you can do a trans. Yes, that's right. 45, correct. So trans, there's this kind of thing called the trans something something like NZ in Australia thing.
Okay,
I
okay.
can't remember. It's like a trans. I can't remember. But you still have to apply PR in Australia. But it's quite easy. It's
Okay.
shortened the time of your registration, as far as I know.
Oh, okay. So that's like a hack lah.
A shortcut. Yeah.
Okay.
But look, NZ, the pay scale is not really high. And most of the NZ nurses also comes to Australia for their work-life experience and balance and pay wise. Um, it really depends what you want, honestly. If you want layback, New Zealand is much more layback. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's great. All my friends are there telling you it's not more than 45 years old.
Okay. 45. Okay. I still got time then. I should start planning
Yes.
now if I want to go. Okay, right. Thank you very much, Sheila, for your time. If there are any questions from anybody here, I shall do a countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, no questions.
Thank you so
Okay,
much
thank you
for
very much,
having
Sheila, for
me.
being here. If I do have any questions, can I just contact you? Sheila, is that okay?
Of of course, like well, I'm more than happy. Not only myself, there's so many of my friends right now who's in life in our life. They are
Hmm.
more than happy also to share. In fact, I have friends who are also interested to share their experience in
Oh,
Australia, which I can connect it to you.
okay,
So
okay.
it's really nice that when after I share our advertisement about
Hmm.
this live Instagram, people are like really looking forward to
Yeah, yeah.
know what the process like. I'm not saying that hey, we better leave Singapore. Singapore is a great country,
Hmm.
really good in terms of healthcare. But just saying that like most of my friends actually said the grass is always greener on the other side, but you
Hmm.
just have to come in with open heart. So you can always ask me, yeah,
Hmm.
just ask.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think after this live, I think you will have a couple of new followers lah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That's great. That's fine. I'll be more than happy to help you guys, for the journey to Australia.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, and that sounds great lah, Sheila. Again, I think I say many times already, but I really can't thank you much, so much for being here. And yes, if I do have any questions or if anyone have any questions, we will definitely reach out to you. Thank you, Sheila,
That's
for your
great.
time.
Nice meeting all of you and yourself. Thank you for having me again, and all the best to your what's this called? The again, sorry,
The
unprofessionalness. It's really
the
interesting.
unprofessionalness.
No, that's really good. Sometimes you need humor. You need humor. It can't be too serious.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you, thank you. I like to think that lah. But thank you, Sheila, for your words of encouragement. Well, I'll speak to you
Okay.
soon, okay? You take care.
All right. All the best.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Good night. Good night. Good night,
Bye.
everyone.